Cry o Balintawak or Cry o Pugadlawin. The Cry o Balintawak, also known as the Cry o Pugadlawin, is an iconic event in Philippine history. It marked the beginning of the Philippine Revolution against the Spanish colonial rule on August 23, 1896. The Cry o Balintawak was a collective expression of courage, hope, and determination among the oppressed and exploited Filipino people who had been under foreign domination for more than 3 centuries. Guillermo Masangkay was one of the original members of the Katipunan. He was designated to build the KKK in Cavite. His accounts contribute to our understanding of the Cry of Balintawak and the death of Bonifacio. He was also a general in the Philippine-American War. Guillermo Masangkay, one of the most prominent streets of Manila-Santa Cruz Binondo area, is a street called Masangkay, named after the prominent figure na kataas-taasang kagalang-galang na katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan or the KKK Katipunan movement. Guillermo Masangkay was one of them, a friend and advisor of Andres Bonifacio, a bosom friend who joined that underground society when he was only 17. He was born on June 25, 1867 in Misig, Tondo, Manila. His parents were Domingo Masangkay of Batangas and Victoria Rafael of Tansa, Cavite. He was plying his trade when he heard about a prominent young man in his neighborhood that he became friends with Bonifacio. As they got to know each other well, they found that they had the same patriotic aspirations. Masangkay was with Bonifacio in April 1896 at the Bernardo Carpio Cave on Mount Tapusi, San Mateo, Rizal. It was the site originally chosen for the start of the uprising at Balintawak. Masangkay, also known as Guillermo, was born on June 25, 1867, a native of Misig, Tondo, Manila, and one of the first members of the Katipunan. On that fateful day, a group of Filipino patriots led by Andres Bonifacio, the founder of the Katipunan, gathered in a house in Balintawak, a district of Caloocan, then a province of Manila. They had planned to launch a revolution against the oppressive Spanish colonial government. They took an oath to fight for the independence and freedom of the country and to shed their blood if necessary to achieve their goal. Bonifacio, the Supremo of the Katipunan, took the lead in the momentous event. He tore his white camisa de chino, a traditional Filipino shirt, to make a revolutionary flag. The flag bore the symbols of the Katipunan, a sun with 8 rays representing the 8 provinces that first revolted against the Spanish, and 3 white Ks representing the revolutionary organization's name. They raised the flag and the participants shouted, "Long live the Philippines, death to the oppressors." The rallying cry was the signal of the revolution to begin. This stirring event inspired the people to rise up against the oppressors. The revolution spread like a wildfire, and the Filipinos took up arms against the Spanish colonial forces. The Cry of Balintawak ignited the flames of the revolution in the hearts and minds of Filipinos and gave them the courage to fight for their independence and freedom. Content and contextual analysis of the important historical information found in the document. The document is a call to arms, urging the Filipinos to rise up against the Spanish oppressors. It contains the now famous phrase, "Brothers and sisters, let us reflect. On this day, your brother Andres Bonifacio is given the power to decide your aspirations." This praise galvanized the Filipinos into action, and it is said that the revolutionaries tore their cédulas or identification papers in defiance of Spanish rule. The historical context of the Cry of Balintawak is that it was a meeting of members of the Katipunan, a Philippine revolutionary society, to discuss the decision to revolt against Spanish colonial rule. The meeting was attended by leaders of the Katipunan including Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, Aguedo del Rosario, Tomas Remigio, Bricio Pantas, Teodoro Plata, Pio Valenzuela, Enrique Pacheco, and Francisco Carrion. The Philippines had been under Spanish colonial rule since the 16th century, and the Filipinos had long been oppressed and exploited by their colonizers. The significance of the cry of Balintawak resides not only in its function as a revolution's impetus, but also in the way it unites the country via a common history of values, beliefs, conflicts, and ambitions. Every Filipino generation has the cry of Balintawak entrenched in their communal memory or conscience. It is a symbol of their solidarity and encourages nationalism and patriotism among Filipinos. In conclusion, the cry of Balintawak is a significant historical event that highlights the strength of group action and how it may transform society. It teaches us about Filipino history and its fights for independence. The document reflects the growing discontent and resentment of the Filipinos toward the Spanish rulers, who imposed heavy taxes and denied them basic rights and freedoms. The cry of Balintawak represents the beginning of Filipino nationalism and independence, inspiring Filipinos to struggle for their freedom from foreign domination. Contribution and relevance of the document in understanding the grand narrative of Philippine history. As the beginning of freedom, Philippines finally has their peace, but of course freedom doesn't mean we don't have any casual ties. Some of our men have to sacrifice their life for freedom. The country is upset for the falling of their troops, but the sacrifice is worth it since they achieved the freedom they are fighting for. As people celebrate the victory, some are mourning after the death of their family, friends, and loved ones. It is pure sadness after the death of our fellow Filipinos, but their sacrifice is worth it. Since we are now experiencing the freedom they fought for us, they fought for their lives. After the revolution, we slowly gained back not just the independence of our country, but also the value of ourselves. We are able to fight with our men. With the revolution, our people has become united. Also, our people are resourceful with our country being colonized. For a year, we are able to stand independently. Filipinos gave each other a helping hand to rebuild some infrastructure and their houses. Filipinos help each other to get through a rough path after the revolution, looking forward for a brighter day of freedom we Filipinos earned. The story of the cry of Balintawak is important because it symbolizes the Filipino people's desire for freedom and independence. It highlights the bravery and sacrifice of Filipino revolutionaries who fought for their country's sovereignty against a foreign power. It also serves as a reminder of the struggles and challenges that the Filipino people face in their quest for self-determination. Today, the cry of Balintawak remains an important part of Philippine history and is commemorated every year as a national holiday. It serves as a source of inspiration for Filipinos to continue fighting for their rights and freedom. On the 13th of August year 1896, unique event in history of the Philippines consisting of more than 500 Katipunero that simultaneously tore their respective cedula as proof of their complete abdication of leadership of Spaniards in the Philippines. In July 5, 1896, when discovered by the Spanish government the association, a letter sent by Lieutenant Manuel Sitiar, an officer of Pasig and civil governor of Manila, to convey their knowledge of shelter organization consisting of capital city. According to his news, the association is full of courage, which reveals errors of the government, and its forces has reached even the neighboring area of Manila, such as Mandaluyong and San Juan. Also, according to Sitiar, a fundraiser was raised to organizations sufficient to supply the members of the arms which they will use in their imminent strike. Because the discovery of Katipunan, Andres Bonifacio told the other head of organization of a gathering the reprimand in the Balintawak, and here we will talk about what is the best initiative which they will do.
In August 1896, with Brother Procopio and some members like Emilio Jacinto, Teodoro Plata, and Aguedo del Rosario, will sail Andres Bonifacio on Balintawak, and it came near dawn. The next day, Pio Valenzuela's group found it. The next day, Bonifacio changed the code again of Katipunan after know that they were already aware of the Spaniards. After gathering, there were 500 Katipunero. They crossed Kangkong, Caloocan, and here they were accommodated to sleep and feed by Apolonio Samson.
Afternoon of August 22, 1896, they headed to the Pugadlawin.
August 23, 1896, when they reached Juan A. Ramos' home,
Son of acknowledged mother of Katipunan, that is Melchora Aquino. Despite the forceful refusal of his brother-in-law Teodoro Plata, everyone agreed to let the fight begin.
at Bonifacio's command. At the same time, Katipuneros simultaneously released their cedula or notes and tore it proudly and courage. Here it was agreed that the first stage of rebellion is held in August 29, 1896, includes all members of Katipunan.
The cry of Balintawak occurred on August 26, 1896. The cry defined as the turning point when the Filipinos finally refused Spanish colonial dominion over the Philippine Islands. With tears in their eyes, the people as one man pulled out their cedulas and tore them into pieces. The three primary sources are the accounts of Dr. Pio Valenzuela, Santiago Alvarez, and Guillermo Masangkay. They participated in the revolution as the witnesses on the happenings during the revolution. Their accounts became our background knowledge on what really happened that day. This controversial version of the cry of the Pugadlawin has been authorized by no other than Dr. Pio Valenzuela, who happened to be the eyewitness himself of the event. In his first version, he told that the prime staging point of the cry was in Balintawak on Wednesday of August 26, 1896. He claimed that the first cry took place on August 24, 1896 in Bahay, Toro, Quezon City. In current history, the beginning of the revolution against Spain has been officially commemorated as the cry of Pugadlawin. The supposed site of Pugadlawin is located in Quezon City and is memorialized with a tableau of life-size oddly rigid Katipuneros stirring their cedulas. There were about 1,000 Katipuneros. The Supremo decided to hold a meeting inside a big barn, it is stated. According to Masangkay, on August 26, 1896, the Supremo summons all Katipuneros to a meeting to discuss the early rebellion of revolt against the Spanish colonizers on August 29, 1896. On his account, Lieutenant Olicario Diaz, a Spanish Guardia Civil officer, reported that the cry occurred in Balintawak on August 25, 1896. That being the case, Bonifacio said, "Bring out your cedulas and tear them to pieces to symbolize our determination to take up arms." The men obediently tore up their cedulas, shouting, "Long live the Philippines!" This event marked the so-called Cry of Balintawak, which actually happened in Pugadlawin.